And Pauline Beange is with us. She's a political science professor at the University of Toronto. Pauline, a PC majority.
Yes.
What are you thinking as you're watching the results roll in?
I am surprised, and I'm sure the pollsters are delighted that they were correct in forecasting a PC majority.
Well, a lot of them were saying it was neck and neck, so that kind of changed.
Yes, it did, but there were a few that called for a PC majority, and it vindicated the way they did their polls.
Pauline, let's talk about what stuck out to you as you're watching these ridings come in.
First thing would be that where the PCs won, they swamped their opponents. To a lesser extent, that happened for the NDP too, but I think certainly the number of seats, I believe the Conservatives had 37 seats, then dropped to 28, then have just surged to around 70. And last, the Kathleen wins, very tenuous hold on her own riding.
What do you think tipped the scales? I mean, in Doug Ford's favor here.
I think part of it was Rob Ford's legacy. As much as people didn't like him and his personal habits, he struck a chord with Ontario voters that there was a change needed, and I think his brother did very well to capture it and carry the ball forward.
I think, people look at Doug, and he's, of course, now the premier-elect, but he stepped into this very, very late. There were Conservatives that were building this in the legislature for years. How much of it can be attributed to those people, this win?
Certainly a great deal. Riding associations are critical. As one federal cabinet minister has said to me, riding associations can fly apart on a whim. And so the fact that the Conservatives were able to keep and build is quite remarkable.
Pauline, Doug was saying to his crowd of supporters there, Ontario is open for business. I mean, what is your first priority if Ontario is open for business and that's what everyone's excited about?
I think reassuring foreign investors who are scared about the situation in British Columbia, and we need foreign investment for jobs.
Let's talk about the NDP. They appear to be forming the opposition now. Is there a minor victory in that?
Oh, certainly. They have the opportunity to mold and shape some of the debates, more power to force amendments, and clearly they're a force to be reckoned with. There are a lot of Ontario voters who stand behind the NDP.
Is Andrea still a viable leader, though? Because, yes, she doubled her seats, but this is her third run at premier, and if we look at it that way, it's a failure.
Yes, I think she'll be hard-pressed 4 years from now. She will probably hang on, but the NDP has pretty regular leader reviews, so we'll have to wait and see.
And Kathleen Wynne saying goodbye as leader tonight. What did you think of that?
Not surprising. She basically gave us a heads up over the weekend, and a leader who goes from that kind of a majority to that kind of a loss really doesn't stand a chance.
So where do the Liberals go from here? Because they're in a place that they're not used to being in this province.
Absolutely not. They have lost as well. A number of their cabinet ministers before the election was even called, and a number were defeated tonight. So they are going to have to do a major party rebranding and rebuilding.
It's kind of similar to if you think of the federal Liberals with the spot they were in a few years ago, but they figured it out.
They figured it out, but largely on the value of the Trudeau name, because the federal Liberals struggled with several leaders and several executive directors after Jean Chrétien resigned. So I think we'll probably see a similar need.
All right, Pauline Beange, political science professor at the University of Toronto. Thank you.